failing the intelligence test. What's 2 plus 2?
Is it 5?
God damn it, that's near enough for me.
The Benny Hill Show was a groundbreaking comedy that thrilled audiences worldwide with its mix of slapstick, satire, and unconventional humor. For years, Benny Hill became synonymous with laughter. But behind the comedic facade, he faced growing criticism, personal challenges, and eventually, the sudden cancellation of his beloved show. This is the story of Benny Hill's rise to fame, his eventual downfall, and the hidden moment that signaled the end of The Benny Hill Show. The rise of a comedy icon. Who was Benny Hill? Born Alfred Hawthorne Hill in Southampton, England, in 1924, Benny Hill came from modest beginnings. His father ran a medical supplies business, while his grandfather worked as a circus clown, which likely sparked Benny's early interest in performance. Before finding his footing in comedy, Hill took on a variety of jobs, including being a milkman, driver, and stage manager. These roles built his work ethic and gave him practical skills that he would later utilize in his television career. Hill adopted the stage name Benny as a tribute to his comedic hero, Jack Benny, hoping to emulate his idol's success. After World War II, during which he entertained soldiers, Hill's career began to take off, initially on radio. His blend of witty banter and physical comedy attracted a loyal following, and soon television, an emerging and dynamic medium, presented him with new opportunities to expand his comedic style. Military service and early comedy career. In 1942, Benny Hill was drafted into the Royal Electrical and Mechanical Engineers during World War II. He served in Normandy, participating in the Allied liberation of Europe, and it was during this time that Hill began performing for fellow soldiers, honing the comedic style that would later define his career. After the war, he joined Combined Services Entertainment, where he entertained troops and continued refining his craft. The post-war era saw Hill's comedy influenced by the British music hall tradition and his American inspiration, Jack Benny. His knack for combining physical humor with clever, deadpan delivery helped him stand out, and he swiftly climbed the entertainment ranks, making a name for himself in the burgeoning world of post-war British comedy. Breaking into television, the launch of The Benny Hill Show. Benny Hill first ventured into television during the early 1950s, where his energetic, visually driven comedy quickly gained traction. In 1955, The Benny Hill Show debuted, blending sketch comedy, slapstick, and satire. Hill took on multiple roles in each episode, showcasing his versatility as a performer. His comedic style transcended language, helping him secure an international fan base. Central to The Benny Hill Show were sharp wordplay, eccentric characters, and the famous chase sequences, accompanied by the lively tune Yakety Sax. These high-energy sketches, often ending in chaotic chases, became the hallmark of his show, drawing millions of viewers. Yet, despite its popularity, controversy loomed on the horizon. Celebrity admiration and worldwide fame. Benny Hill's influence extended far beyond Britain. In the US, he developed a significant following, with high-profile admirers like Johnny Carson, Michael Jackson, and Snoop Dogg praising his comedic talent. Johnny Carson made repeated attempts to bring Hill onto The Tonight Show, and Michael Jackson counted himself as a dedicated fan. Hill's comedy appealed across generations and borders, illustrating the broad, universal appeal of his humor. Changing attitudes and the start of a decline. By the 1980s, societal views on comedy began to change. While Hill's slapstick routines and risque sketches had once been celebrated, they were increasingly seen as out of date and offensive. Critics, particularly feminists, condemned his portrayal of women, especially in the Hill's Angels segments, where scantily clad dancers were a regular feature. A particular sketch that parodied a beauty pageant with revealing outfits and lewd humor became a lightning rod for criticism, symbolizing the growing backlash against his show. Comedian Ben Elton emerged as one of Hill's most outspoken critics, denouncing his humor as sexist and backward. Elton argued that Hill's sketches perpetuated harmful stereotypes, especially in their treatment of women, and called for more progressive comedy. The media seized on these criticisms, and soon The Benny Hill Show became a focal point in the ongoing debate about political correctness in comedy. The End of the Benny Hill Show. Despite its international success, The Benny Hill Show was canceled in 1989. Hill, who had just returned from a festival honoring his work, was caught off guard by the news. Thames Television, the network that produced the show, offered several reasons for its cancellation. First, the show's ratings had plummeted, dropping from over 21 million viewers in the 1970s to around 9.5 million by the late 1980s. While still significant, the reduced audience couldn't justify the high production costs. Additionally, critics claimed that Hill's humor had grown stale and repetitive, and that his aging was evident in his performances. However, the most critical factor was the shift in cultural attitudes. What had once been considered funny and groundbreaking was now viewed as offensive and passé. The portrayal of women in particular had become a major sticking point, and Hill's style of comedy no longer fit with a society increasingly focused on equality and inclusivity. Benny Hill's final years and lasting impact. After the cancellation of his show, Benny Hill's career began to fade. He made occasional TV appearances, but his health steadily worsened in the early 1990s. Refusing to undergo surgery for his heart condition, Hill passed away in April 1992 at the age of 68, just as a potential new contract was on the horizon that might have revived his career. His death signaled the end of an era in British comedy. Although his work became the subject of controversy, Benny Hill's impact on the comedy world is undeniable. His distinctive mix of slapstick, satire, and parody left a lasting impression on comedians and the genre of British comedy as a whole. The Benny Hill Show remains a significant part of comedy history and continues to provoke discussions about the balance between humor and societal sensitivity. The moment that led to The Benny Hill Show being taken off the air wasn't tied to a single sketch or incident. It was the result of a changing cultural landscape that had moved beyond Hill's brand of humor. His career serves as a reflection of how comedy, much like society, evolves over time. While his show may not align with today's standards, Benny Hill's influence on the entertainment industry remains significant and undeniable. Hill's ability to connect with audiences across generations and cultures highlights the timeless nature of humor, even if the styles of humor that connect with people change. Though The Benny Hill Show is no longer on air, its influence on comedy and television history continues to be felt. What do you think about The Benny Hill Show and its lasting impact on comedy? Was the show ahead of its time, or did it fall behind changing societal norms? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and let us know how you feel about Benny Hill's legacy and the evolution of comedy. Don't forget to share your favorite sketches or memories from the show.